Good morning, sports fans. Lincoln and Logan County. You're in the cheap seats. Josh Komnick along with the furniture guy, Jake Johnston.
That's with a T, my friend.
Johnston.
Thank you.
Johnston. Sorry. After all these years, I still haven't been able to pronounce it.
It's just, you get it right like once every 4 attempts.
It's just different.
So.
It's just different.
No, it's really not.
I'll just call you the furniture guy. That way I don't have to say your last name.
All
hey,
right.
That's where we are right now. Jake's Furnishings, located at 1100 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. He's open 7 days a week. Phone him at 735-1212 or go online to jakesfurnishings.com. We're right out in front here, right along Woodlawn. It's a beautiful day. Well, I think it's the best day of the year. Best day of the summer so far. Not so hot. Nice sun.
We had that one day we were watching the Little League softball game.
That you had to have us out.
That was phenomenal.
That was 98 by the time we started the show, and it was at 107 by the time we finished.
126 is what the recording said.
Yeah, that was a great.
A good time.
Beautiful day out, so get out and enjoy all the things that are going on here around. Of course, the fair's over with now. We're kind of in that stall between the fair and the Balloon Fest coming up, and State Fair's going on too. So, what's going on, Jake? Out here at Jake's Furnishings, we got to have the customers come out. Everything's going on.
There's a lot going on.
Sure.
It is back to school time. We've got small 4-drawer chests on sale right now for just over $100. We've got queen mattresses. Actually, we have some closeouts still and whatnot. Twin size mattresses. We can hook you up.
That's right. If your son or daughter is headed back to college or headed to college for the first year, you need some furnishings.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
The guy to my left is the guy that will help you out with all that. Stop out here again, 1100 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln, 7 days a week, or you can give him a call at 735-1212 or go online to jakesfurnishings.com. And Jake, in the sporting world, of course, we kind of always been starting the show out with baseball, although it's slowly diminishing. I mean, it's diminished for me as far as being a Cub fan for a long time now. But
the races are starting to separate themselves from the non-contending teams.
You're exactly right, and I'm a little worried. Not necessarily myself, but I think as a Cardinal fan, you've got to become worried of your team falling off, losing it. The Reds are hot. The Cardinals are not hot, and you're in a vulnerable spot right now.
And Pittsburgh's still right there too. They've got some stay to it going on right now. Right now, I believe in the second wild card spot, the Cardinals would be either the second or third team. I think they're the second team right now, actually, behind Pittsburgh. So, who's behind the Braves for the first wild card team by about 2 games. So, it's an interesting time right now. You're right. The pitching's actually held up pretty well, but the consistency's not there. They do have Garcia possibly coming back soon. So that, you're right. A lot of concern there. It's not like a normal year. We don't have Carpenter out there either, but at the same time, we don't have a bad team. We're definitely competing with just about every team out there. So,
and you guys were back from last year, as far as 1 month to go, 2 weeks to go, 10 games. I mean, and you made a heck of a run.
Yeah, the last day of August, I think we're still 10.5 back from the wild card.
Yeah, so. A little bit different team. No Pujols, no La Russa, who is that guy that has been there before.
Yep.
Kind of could keep the troops calm at bay. And do you know if Matheny can do it? You don't. I mean, he's not proven. He's not a proven manager. And you get to this point in the season, you need that leadership to step forward.
They actually just sent one of their guys that they were hopeful for, packing, sent him to the Astros, claimed on waivers, and Tyler Green, who, to be honest, was one of my favorite players as it goes to being like a project player. One of those players that you're like, you know what, if he'd just get a couple at bats, maybe he'd get going. And unfortunately, that never materialized for him. And they shipped him off to Houston, and he steals a base and scores on the next play to win the game yesterday.
Well, Houston needs a lot more than just Tyler Green. But, Jake, let's run through the scores from baseball from last night. Cincinnati stays hot. They're now 67-46. They won 10-8 over the Chicago Cubs. San Diego 9, Pittsburgh 8. Philadelphia was a winner 3-1 over St. Louis. Atlanta 4, the New York Mets scoreless at 0. The Dodgers 5, Miami 2. Houston was a winner over Milwaukee 4-3. And Washington and Arizona were late. Colorado and San Francisco were late. In the American League, Boston 3, Cleveland 2. The Orioles 7. The Kansas City Royals 1. New York Yankees 10. Toronto 4. Detroit Tigers 6. And the Rangers of Texas 2. Chicago White Sox were a winner over Oakland 4-3. Tampa Bay a winner over Minnesota 12-6. Washington still leading the East Division at 69-43. The next best is Atlanta at 65-47, just 4 back of the Nationals, and then you go quite a ways back with the Mets at 15.5. So that's pretty much a 2-team race.
Just over a month left right now, and in my mind, the 2 most surprising teams in baseball. It's not the Nationals to me.
Really?
It's Baltimore Orioles and Oakland Athletics. Both first and second in the wild card in the American League, competing well. And, it's just kind of fun to watch this year to see some teams that haven't competed well. Well, and now they're right there.
Speaking of the Nationals, just last week we were talking about them holding Strasburg and not pitching him anymore, and then they throw him out there last night.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's surpassed that 170, 180
right.
inning pitched, but it's right there. They've got a pretty decent lead. Why wouldn't you stop him?
Well,
shut him down a little bit. Maybe have him do some warm-up sessions on the side.
They may not even, are they going to play him in the playoffs?
They're saying no, but I would have to say if you get to the playoffs, you have to go for the dub. I mean, that's the thing the Cardinals did last year, and you know what? It just about backfired on them. But they went for broke.
Yeah.
They said, okay, we got Kobe Rasmus, who's having a nice year this year in Toronto. I think he's got over 20 home runs, batting right at 260, with a lot of stolen bases. But the thing about that is the Cardinals gave up on a guy that potentially could be a future all-star, especially with a different manager coming into place, and they knew that at that time when they were trading him. They gave up on a guy because they said, you know what, this is what we need to win it, or to at least have a chance, get to the playoffs to have a chance to win it. Once you get there, you got to go for brokes because you do not, even good teams, look at Philadelphia. They retooled. They picked up Cliff Lee a couple years back after they had gotten rid of him. They picked him back up, and everybody locked it down. They said Philadelphia next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And they still haven't been back.
They're 18 back right now.
Yeah. I mean, so it just goes to show you, if you have a chance, you need to go after it this year. If you have to deplete your farm system, if you get a world championship, nobody's going to care about what you traded off.
Or you may not care for your next 5 years. Well, we don't remember back in 2012 they won the World Series.
That's exactly right. I mean, to be honest, let's say there wasn't last year. Jim and I are Cardinal fans. We would still talk about 06 because it's still fresh. It's still right there. Now, once you get 10, 15 years out, okay, that's starting to get a little deep.
Right.
But at the same time, 100 years is a long time.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up there.
I didn't mean to throw you under there.
The Reds are ahead in the Central by 3.5 games over the Pittsburgh Pirates, 67-46. The Cardinals are 6 back of the Cincinnati Reds. San Francisco winning the West Division, 61-51. They've got a half-game lead over the Dodgers. In the American League, the Yankees still rolling, 66-46. They're 5.5 games up on Baltimore. The White Sox still ahead, 1 game up on Detroit in the Central, and Texas 5.5 up on Oakland to round out the kind of the division. So as you said, Jake, 1 month roughly in the baseball season left, and then we start a time where I will even watch baseball because the playoffs.
Well, let's face it, the last week of the year last year, that was one of the most fun times of baseball that I can remember in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable. The going back and forth. 2 teams, Tampa Bay and the Cardinals trailing, teams that seemingly had it locked up and surpassing them on the last day of the year. How much more fun can it be? Like we talked about last year, it was very much a college Final Four atmosphere where win or go home.
Yeah.
And how much fun was that, man?
It just happened to be your team was part of it.
I mean, exactly. I'll be honest, though. If it wasn't my team, if it was the Cubs, I still would have been locked in. I mean, that's
because you're thinking something could happen that's never happened in 100 years. I mean, that's
correct.
That's history.
Yeah, correct. And I if you enjoy baseball, then you do enjoy history.
Jake, we got to take a quick commercial break. We're out here at Jake's Furnishings, located at 1100 Woodlawn Road. Come out and visit us. Also, in the second half hour of the show, we're going to have head football coach, Coach McDonald, getting ready for the football season. Practice is underway, so we're going to check in with him. He's going to stop by and talk to us here at Jake's Furnishings. You're in the Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. On a beautiful Saturday morning in Lincoln, Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome, sports fans. You're in the Cheap Seats. Josh Komnick along with the furniture guy, Jake Johnston, and that's where we are, 1100 Woodlawn Road, Lincoln, Illinois, in front of Jake's Furnishings. Open 7 days a week. Give them a call, 735-1212, or go online to Jake's Furnishings. A bed set is leaving Jake's as we speak, and more college parents.
Oh, yeah.
Parents with college
you know what still sells? We've got these things we call flip-flop sofas.
Futons, no?
They're like futons.
Yeah.
Man, those things still sell like crazy.
You know, I actually still have one, I think.
Really?
Yeah, a futon.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it needs to go.
Yeah, probably. Your wife's probably pretty sick of that.
Hey, again, next Saturday, a big show. We're on the road. The Cheap Seats is hitting. I don't know what route we'll take to get there, but we are going to the Stagger Inn in downtown Emden to kick off the annual ALS Walk Run. As we'll be there, of course, from 9 to 10 in front of the Stagger Inn, the new establishment there in downtown Emden, getting set for the first annual ALS Walk Run, which we will both be taking part in. From at 10 o'clock. You know, you can. We've already been signed up.
Are we going to be running while we're on the air? Can Jim make that happen?
I don't know if we've got wireless mics. We're going to have to. Well, see, the run doesn't start till 10, and we get off at. We're done at 10.
Do a conference call with both of us on there.
I mean, you can start running at 9, but the real thing doesn't start till 10. Doesn't matter to me what you do. Call in if you want, yeah.
Okay.
You need a warm-up, an hour warm-up?
I do need an hour. I need a 4-day warm-up.
But that's where we'll be next Saturday. Stagger in again, and I'm presuming if you're still interested, I don't know that you can get a T-shirt, but you can still sign up. From last thing I've heard, 200 walk or runners have been signed up. So a great cause, and that's where we'll be to kick off that walk run before we take part in the walk run next Saturday.
What a great event.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of neat. So hopefully we can promote it and keep on having that. A lot of good money is going to be raised toward the ALS Foundation. And
is there a host family or anything for
There's several. Michelle Conradi Brown's family is part of it. And then there were also two people from the area of Emden, Alan Lesson and you're going to, well, Knapsinger, yes. No, not Lila. There wasn't as a Knapsinger. There's 3 families that are involved to kind of get this whole thing going. And, wow, what a success. I know it takes a lot of work.
It takes a lot of work.
But what a success if you've got 200 people already signed up. Well, I'm really excited about it. I know a lot of people that are going to be taking part in it. So it should be a fun day. And then I think also you can stay there at the Stagger afterwards, and they're going to have meals and of course, drinks and all that kind of stuff. So
there goes my mom.
She should stop here.
She probably will afterwards.
Jake, Olympics almost
coming to a conclusion.
Done.
Yeah. Good medal count going on
exactly.
right now.
What I've got, well, I guess what the paper has, 94 to 81, and we were right there with China for several days, maybe a week and a half, and all of a sudden track and field hit. China is not strong in. I guess not as strong, and we really just took off with a lot of golds, a lot of silvers in the track and field, and we went from being right around pretty much even to now up 13, and I don't know that there's a way that
separate. They're going to separate even more. We'll be over 100, I'm sure.
Yeah,
pretty easily. So China will be falling off even further. But what a great, one of the better Olympics to my recollection. I mean, there's a lot going on, a lot of cool stories, even outside the United States. Mm-hmm. The double amputee
that was really neat,
from South Africa. Really inspiring story right there.
Mm-hmm.
and many others. An Ethiopian gal that is actually a Swiss national. Yeah. Anyway, she married a gentleman from the Swiss, and Ethiopia basically is forcing her to run for their country. And she said, you know what, I'm going to run because it's the Olympics.
Right.
And I'm going to have the world sort this out. And now, obviously, she has a huge following across the entire world supporting her, getting her family out of Ethiopia and moving them to a new country, which, I mean, is just putting a lot of pressure on that country. Last night, you saw the women's team, relay team, blow up.
Yeah.
Blow
Hammer
up
a world record.
A 26-year-old record, I believe, is how old it is. Just blew it up. I mean, it was unbelievable. So the world record, then also which was set by the Germans back when
27 years.
Yeah, back when the steroids were not only legal but pushed upon people.
Yeah, it's been a neat and probably the most publicized as far as leading up to the Olympics, because now I think during the Olympics it's been so lopsided as, of course, the basketball teams, the women's winning just as easy as the men's, and the men's are going to be going for gold, I believe, tomorrow against Spain. So again, it looks like the U.S. will have Olympic gold in basketball. Maybe some thought Spain would give us a run, but it's been
doesn't look like
it's just been.
You know, they've had a couple
dominating
games where the first half
it's been
maybe,
close. Yeah,
it's been close, but man, they really lock it down, especially the start of the second half. And defensively, they'll lock it down, and which turns into some offensive easy baskets. And boy, it's very evident who the king of the world is in basketball.
Yeah, Sunday will be the game against Spain, and that's a rematch of their victory 4 years ago for the title in Beijing. So Spain, of course, is going to be a very good team. And one thing that's amazing to me is when you get these Olympic athletes, and I'm just mainly talking about basketball right now, because they both have college coaches. Coach Krzyzewski is the coach of the guys team, and I believe Gino Auriemma is the coach of the girls. And they're both college coaches, and it kind of, I always thought, when these guys get to the pros, are they going to listen to a college guy, even with the status of a Mike Krzyzewski? I'm thinking there's some guys you're saying, you know what, you coach college, I'm in pros, I'm not going to listen to you. But it seems like, boy, they lock in when he gets.
I was going to say, I'd almost say that he's one of those guys that you don't have a choice. I think he demands the room, and I don't know if it'd matter if it was even. I don't know if it was a seminar on coaching and it was all NBA coaches that were there listening to him talk. Right. I think he just commands the room. Yeah. His presence and everything else. And same thing with Gino Auriemma, or however you say his name. Sorry,
you got
kind of butcher it there. But again, just commands the room, and heck, half of the team I think is his former players.
Well, you're right. Yeah, most of them are players from Connecticut anyway, so they probably remember those chewing sessions they receive at halftime. But
that in Tennessee, and I think Pat Summitt was pretty well known for that as well. Yeah.
And I think, as you saw, sometimes the Americans, especially the basketball guys, would sometimes get relaxed and maybe be up 10 or 15 at half. And I think Krzyzewski would go in and, say, boys, you don't play hard or you don't get after it, you're not playing. And he'll put somebody else in there. Next thing you know, we're up 50.
Yep, that's exactly right. And then that was the case, too.
Yeah, so, it'll be, it looks like the United States is going by all crazy out here at Jake's Furnishings. But it looks like the U.S. is going to lead the medal count and should take honors in the most medals. So
has there been a sport that you've turned on, kind of focused on, that you don't normally do?
Well, I usually get in and get the kids fed, that kind of stuff. We get them to sleep. About 9 to 11 is about the time that I watch it, and that's usually the prime time things where they're putting on the swimming or gymnastics. And the gymnastics have been very good. Of course, you've seen them before, just on, like the Olympics and things like that. But It's been swimming. I really got into watching Phelps.
Yep.
For some reason, he just kind of gathered my attention to see how many medals he might get. But yeah, it's been pretty wide open. I've really watched everything. I got to watch a little bit of the BMX last night, and that really didn't spark much. But
there was whitewater rafting.
Yeah.
And I happened to be at a restaurant eating breakfast one morning and saw it on TV. I was like, man, that's kind of cool. So then I actually went to the NBC website and pulled it up and could watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, that was a really interesting sport.
I'd be interested to see how much the Olympics actually cost the city to put. I mean, all these things are new.
Well, Beijing, they lost, if I'm thinking right, it was around $400 million.
See, you've got to build all these new stadiums, all these tracks, all this
plus
new
the
stuff.
road work.
And what do you do afterwards?
They have to rebuild the roads and stuff to compensate a whole bunch of stuff.
And then what do you do with this stuff afterwards?
Well, they just had a big thing on Yahoo about all the stuff at Beijing, and most of it's dilapidated. They buried a couple of the stadiums. They tore them down, buried them.
Yeah.
Which was, but that's China. That's going to be different than most countries. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, you just can't do a whole lot.
No.
Now, if you look at Atlanta, Georgia, from way back in the day when they had it, they actually redid a lot of housing units and whatnot, beautified the city. Mm-hmm. It still cost them more than what they took in, but the long-term effect of it was actually a positive. They didn't have to use as much taxpayer money to build a couple new stadiums. So, there was long-term, I guess, there's countries that can make money if they set themselves up properly. But as a business model, I don't think it's good for a country to get the Olympics.
Yeah, I don't know what the benefits of it are, really. I mean, exposure and things, but, man, you've got to spend a heck of a lot of money to be able to have this thing and then keep it going and keep the structures up even after the Olympics are there. So, hey, Jake, we got to pay some bills and take another commercial break here. But a couple of things leading up in the second half. Central State 8's been around for 20 years, and the State Journal Register is going to have a kind of a cool thing going on. We'll talk about it in just a couple minutes. We're out here at Jake's Furnishings, 1100 Woodlawn Road. You're in the cheap seats, 96.3 FM and WLCN online.com.